This week, like me, you'll have seen the disturbing scenes at the Turkish and Greek border. Prime Minister Erdogan, the Sultan of Turkey, flung open the border to millions of migrants seeking entry to Europe. The EU doesn't support Turkey's colonialist ambitions in Syria, so Erdogan is weaponising migrants. As an FU to the EU, the Turkish government is sending them to the border in buses and taxis. Erdogan wants to return Europe to the chaos of the migrant crisis. There were almost 2 million illegal border crossings in 2015 alone, the largest mass migration in Europe since the Second World War. There are more than 3 million migrants in Turkey, and they all want an EU passport with full healthcare and benefits. It's impossible to know who these people are, how old they are, or where they came from. In 2016, the UK government proposed checking the age of these so-called refugees by way of dental checks. The wokers and the lovies said this was re-traumatising and unethical, so the tests were abandoned. 933 of these child refugees were given asylum in the UK, but more than 2/3 of them turned out to be adults. A little common sense goes a long way. Look at the photographs of these migrant children, strapping 6-footers with beards bigger than Brian Blessed. The UK is a soft touch. Well, why are they coming? They know Britain is full of softies tripping on a guilt complex. Plaid Labour are agitating to make Wales a nation of sanctuary. This is just a plan to ensure that anybody who claims to be a refugee in Wales is given a job, a house and a health card courtesy of the taxpayer. Nobody objects to offering a safe haven to genuine refugees, but even the UN admitted that most of the refugees in 2015-2016 were economic migrants looking to scam the British taxpayer. More than 60,000 people in Wales are unemployed, 25,000 people are classed as homeless, almost a quarter of the Welsh people live in poverty. A quarter! What about them? Where's their sanctuary? 63% of the British public think immigration is far too high. So why do the social justice warriors in Cardiff Bay think they can give 2 fingers up to the voters by doing everything they can to increase immigration? They ignore the suffering of the Welsh people in favour of giving handouts to economic migrants. In the words of St Greta, how dare you? Providing for asylum seekers isn't even the responsibility of Cardiff Bay. It's not a devolved issue. Plaid and Labour want more and more devolution, so imagine if the far-left Assembly were to have their way and opened the floodgates to every sub-Saharan African migrant claiming asylum. What then? Wales will not retain any semblance of identity or survive economically. If the Assembly is allowed to turn it into a sanctuary for millions of global refugees, so-called, Europe, let alone Wales, simply can't sustain these levels of mass immigration. So let's give 2 fingers up to the virtue signallers. This is Wales. The people of Wales must decide our future, not out-of-touch politicians in Cardiff Bay.